to January 22nd
22nd.
and approve those minutes and then look at March 11th.
Okay, so
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 22nd.
I'll second it.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just haven't looked at them in a bit. I have to look at it. I know he gives actions at the bottom. I don't know if we have.
The actions,
Here, the in-room
the
report.
actions are one, the
The
actions,
Snack Shack, that's good. That's been done.
right.
Email questions to the group requesting talent hall. I don't know what that was regarding. I can't remember.
The email regarding, that was a group, they're requesting talent hall for the use of, what was it?
Remember?
It was something that, I can't remember.
Wasn't that
off the top of
the guy
Oh.
from BAE?
Yeah. that's what
Yes,
I'm looking
that
at
was
right
it.
here,
What
cornhole.
happened with that anyway?
I don't know. We've
I know
never.
Keith had emailed them and asked for information. I don't think they ever got back to him.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Okay. So those three actions were taken care of. I haven't seen anything from that guy from BAE. So,
No.
okay. And then the other one is our last meeting,
Well, we have
the
to,
11th.
So any further discussion on January 22nd?
I don't have any.
nope.
Okay, so all in favor?
All right.
All right.
Abstain? I'll abstain or object. So it's 401. It approves. It's approved. That wasn't at the 22nd.
Yeah.
That was in basketball, I believe. All right, and then the next one was
The 11th.
12th,
You weren't at that one either.
March 12th?
March 12th.
March. Well, he has it the 11th. Okay. The 12th. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes on the 12th?
I'll make a
Megan.
motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No, just looking at the, again, I just go down to the actions to make sure we're doing our actions. Peter, did you contact Christmas in Litchfield
Yes.
again?
I did not hear back from them though.
What's that?
I did not hear back from
You
them.
did not hear back from them, okay.
I think everything got cleaned up.
Hey, they moved the stands.
No,
so-
we did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
See? There we
So
go.
this, yeah, so when they come back next year, we'll have to address that
Yeah.
because the snack shack is a disaster.
Is it still a disaster?
The water's still there?
Well, I haven't gone back in, but if you haven't let them in and they haven't made any contact to you.
Yeah.
How about the email, the leagues for the proof of insurance, Mike?
I did not email them. That was my bad. Right now it's baseball and softball we need it from. And I just spoke to Kurt, so I will
Saw
email.
Keith, but didn't ask him about the cleaning of the floors. And I never checked the, I haven't checked, I don't have a key to the mailbox. So has anyone checked our mail at all?
Oh, in there?
Yeah,
No, I haven't looked at it.
I don't have a key to it, so
I'll get it for you at the end of the meeting
Okay.
if you want me to. I
I was
do.
gonna go in and I never did. And I think we got the email from Troy about the renewals, right?
Yes.
So we're all set with that, okay. So. I don't have anything else.
Any other, buddy with discussion on the agenda, on the,
I don't think
Minutes.
so.
all right, all in favor?
All right.
Oppose, abstain? So it carries 302.
Looks good.
So all minutes have been approved. That's nothing from February?
We didn't have a meeting in February.
Yeah, no meeting. There was a
We
storm
didn't have a
Yeah.
quorum for.
and then vacation.
Okay. All right, so let's go on to public input. And Jason, I think I got you on the agenda too late, so we can continue public input. Or,
Can I look around for a wire before?
yeah, so we'll just,
Go ahead.
HDMI. VGA is right there.
It should be
It's usually right there.
All right, so we have no public input because there is no other public other than Jason who's here to present. How about, well, we're doing that facility and field requests. We got that one that, Colleen, thank you for responding to the Sweet 16 party.
Yes, and she got back and she said thanks.
Yeah.
So that was good.
And I know I got to put baseball in for Saturdays, the spots that were opened up from basketball, because they're going to try and do, hopefully the fields will be ready.
Yeah, I think it's
A
only
couple
going to be a
weeks.
week or two.
I think
but
so
we're gonna
too.
need
Yeah,
it.
I think it's going to be a nice spring.
I saw them out there at Dara
Yeah.
playing, and we're not right there yet.
That dries so quick. That
Yeah.
field. The ones that hit the sun.
Yes.
The far
The
one.
U8 one.
Yeah.
Yeah. They put all the, what is it? The dry mix down.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That
We're
really,
not anywhere near there. We still have ice on some of the shaded areas. So
Yeah. So I don't think we have any other requests that came in.
I don't think so. No, I think we're good.
All right, so I guess our next item is Jason Brennan is here. He had sent us some information on our website that he can tell us a little bit about it
Okay.
with our showing some of our facilities.
Bear with me a second. Need to just restart this thing. All right, so Jason Brennan, 23 Aldridge Street. And a couple of months ago, I put together a web application that that the intention is to highlight recreation areas and conservation lands within Litchfield. And so I put this together real quick and I threw it out to the Recreation Commission as well as the Conservation Commission. And I think at this point in time, it looks pretty good. But so the reason why I'm here is for three reasons. Number one, to show you this thing. Number two, to figure out if you want to move forward with implementing this application. And number three, if you do, we just really need to get the wording down on some of the different parks and things like that. But the long story short is that every conservation area in town and town park recreation area in town has been located on the mapping over here. So you got a two-part system over here. You got the map on one side of the screen. You've got a little ribbon down the bottom side of the screen. You got a picture right there. So any user can come in here and can click on the second one here, Sawmill Park. It'll automatically go to that park right there. It'll show you, give you a little bit of information about the park, and it'll highlight it over here on the map. The user conversely can come on to the map and go to Talent Hall, click on that, brings up a picture of Talent Hall, gives you a little bit of information. That's really it right there. And so there can be links down here. There's limited things that you can do with this application, but we could have the user be able to hit a link to open up another page that shows more information on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the crux of it is essentially just a computerized mapping system that allows us to show where the parks are, interact with them, get a little bit of information on it, get a picture, and that's it.
So we can put a link to this on our site, and like soccer could put a link so that people could easily find,
Exactly. Yeah.
where's this field, especially Brickyard. That's the one I think that visiting teams usually have trouble finding, right, Mike?
Oh,
Well,
actually,
it's not
no.
in it.
Finding the field, finding the street's easy enough. Finding the field's hard.
Yeah.
Finding Sawmill becomes a chore at times because it's never really mapped right on Google Maps. So
Does that show up as the road, the
Nope.
Cougar Way yet?
no, it will, and I don't think it ever will.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever official. We put the sign up.
We
I don't
put it
know
to the
if-
Board of Selectmen though.
Yeah, I don't know if it.
It's not. Yeah, it never got added. It's not on.
Well,
there.
you can. I think you can go to Google and ask them to make it a road, can't you? In their mapping system.
Well, we have to make it a road as far as the town is concerned
Official.
first. I think once it's an official road, then Google will automatically pick it up.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was approved like 3 years ago by the Board of Selectmen.
I don't know what the process entails other than that. To to carry that out.
I'll look into it.
Okay.
Have you talked to John Burnell too, and like integrating this with the town website? And,
Not yet, but it
Okay.
would be as simple as just a link,
okay.
and you can put a link on there. I think I've got every single park located. I sent you, Andy, I believe, a spreadsheet that listed everything that we had. This is a
Yeah.
couple of months ago
Mhm.
with the
That's an old
description.
picture.
So that's a few things. So we
Yeah.
need to, at any point in time, we can get new photos and
Okay.
just integrate them right in here. So we've got, if I just scroll across the bottom, Litchfield State Forest, Sawmill, Moores Falls, Corning Fields, the river access, which actually has a nice drone shot that somebody did. I've got kind of slow internet in here.
Well,
Got a nice drone shot on that one. Stage Crossing Conservation Area, Parker Park Brickyard, Roy Memorial Park, which I actually took some Google imagery and then kind of superimposed, sorry, the internet here is really slow, superimposed the fields and things like that on top of it, like where the baseball field or where the softball fields are, the basketball courts. Talent Hall, Griffin, Justin Bassett, and then a couple of points along the bike path.
That's great.
Let me hit restart on that. Now, so if you use this on a mobile phone, it'll resize to the mobile phone. And so it's what they call responsive. And so you'll see it in a different format on your phone. So if you think it's a good idea, we can move forward with it. Didn't take much time to put together. I do this type of stuff for a living. So we can just verify the wording on it and go from there. I'm going to do the same thing with the Conservation Commission as well.
I love this. This is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
That's
it's
really
cool.
nice.
So if we want to change the names of the parks, because technically we should, like Sawmill is actually Litchfield Park at Sawmill Brook.
That's what I need you guys
Okay,
to
that
tell
should be-
me.
Okay, so do you just want an email? Is that fine or?
You want, so that spreadsheet, you want me to we can update that spreadsheet and send it back to you, or just
That's-
want individual stuff?
All it will take. If you still have the spreadsheet,
I'm sure, if you want to send it to me again, but I'm sure I can find it.
okay. Just take a look at the description, the name of the park, the description, if we missed anything.
Are you
And-
gonna add the high school on? You have Griffin, so it's all
Good
all
idea.
parks. So you
Yeah.
know the high school is pretty much the last area of that's not on there, but probably should be.
Yep, we can do that.
Actually, what about, you could also, do LMS with the gym.
Which one?
LMS,
Can do that
the
too.
gym.
Yep.
Just because, the travel basketball uses that, and it's really the only gym other than Talent that we use for,
I think it's a great consolidation of all
yeah.
the information. And most people probably don't even know that all these exist.
And you could probably, it's not us, but maybe even talk to the library about putting them on there.
Yeah, we can put town hall on there. It'll only take, if we want to add things or take away
Right.
things, it only takes a couple of minutes. That's it.
Unless you're working on this Wi-Fi, unless you're working on this.
Yeah, this slow.
So I'll locate the spreadsheet and I'll share it again.
Yeah, 'cause you sent the link
Yeah.
once before, right?
And then maybe let me just put it by this, sometime this time next week.
Oh,
We'll
that's
all
the problem.
just give it a glance over and, make sure we edit anything that we can. We'll all have editing rights to it. And then once it's finalized, we'll sort of send it out to say any last, once we're good with it, we'll just send it over to Jason. And like you said, we can probably update it later, but at least this way it's as up to date as we can get it.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we should be good. There goes.
Okay.
My VPN was on at work and it was slowing things down.
That's
So
nice.
like when you
Okay,
get to Roy Memorial Park, it kind of like labeled softball,
Yeah, that's nice.
softball, playground. If we want to
Basketball.
do those types of things, we can do that. We will need, Justin Bassett Field needs a new one. We got even the bike path on there. All
So
the,
should I take a picture and send it to you, or
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
I'll be out there tomorrow? So
I think the drone images.
I love the air.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And you might want to wait for some of you might want to wait till it's a little
Frozen.
greener.
Greener.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. If we can wait, I don't know if we wanted to get.
I'd say get one now and then when it's
Everything
greener,
was- yeah.
get another one.
Yeah.
There's at least a picture of it up to date with the actual field on there is better than, just
Yeah, that distance shed.
Like grass,
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. I think I got them. Also, I'll take care of the 2 schools, put those on, take a look at the spreadsheet. That's it. I'm hoping if I can run this through conservation, maybe next month we could just launch this thing.
Mhm.
If we see any issues, we can just change it.
Okay.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Nice job.
Thanks for the initiative too. It's good to have somebody that's, doing this.
It's fine. We're gonna build a fence soon. Building a fence. Those power lines.
We're going to build a fence to keep the coyotes out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or in.
We're in.
All right, thanks, Jason. Yep. All right, so new business. Bylaws.
Mm.
Any luck with?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so Colleen sent them around a couple months ago.
Yep.
And then I converted them and I sent them around today in a Word doc so that we could actually edit them.
Easy to read. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, you can read them in the PDF. It's a problem of if we ever want to edit them and not have to retype the whole thing.
I don't think I got that.
Oh, it says it's a reply to the agenda.
Oh, okay. So it's in
Bye,
there.
Jason. Thank you.
Right, Jason? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that. In the agenda thing, I have the original.
What was a reply from Mike on the agenda?
Oh, wait, maybe if I hit Seymour here. Nope. I have, the one, just the original message and then the one from you and then the one from me saying I was going to be late. Oh, wait. I have tonight's agenda and then I have agenda. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here it is.
Now, the one thing that I think has always been fuzzy
Mhm.
is the membership.
So that's on here. It says there are 6 members and 4 alternates, and then an ex officio member of the Board
Right.
of Selectmen.
But is the ex officio, the thing that we've never gotten the answer to, is the ex officio one of the 6 or are they the 7?
No, it's a 7th.
It's in addition to.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's this? I don't see the in addition to.
It just says a member of the Board of Selectmen shall be an ex officio, a member of the commission. I thought ex officio in its meaning was an added, like.
No, ex officio means that they're not named, they're not a member by name, they're a member by position.
So that would mean that they aren't appointed.
Well, they're appointed as a position, not as a name.
Yeah, it says, I looked it up because, I don't know either. An ex officio member is a member of a body who is part of it by virtue of holding another office.
So that's an
So number
additional.
7. Yep. Number
It's not
7.
additional, it just means that they are part of it.
I should
They're
be-
not part of the 6 members.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, we've never really gotten the official. Tony Schaefer's even back to those days, we were never really clear if it was a 7th member. Or
Well,
a
it says,
6th.
but it says 10 citizens who shall be appointed by the board. 6 members, 4 alternates. And then the ex officio is later on, it talks about that position.
Right, but that still could be one of the 6 people because they are a citizen, they are appointed by the board. Because they're assigned,
Mm.
basically appointed.
It says a member
Well,
shall be an ex officio member, and then it says all members and alternates of the
Well,
rec commission shall serve.
it's up to us, right? I mean, we can
That's up to the Board of Selectmen. We can
change this
it
language
from-
tonight and then present to the Board of Selectmen and say
Right.
we want that position to be part of the 6 or we want it to be in addition to. We can do.
Yeah, because I mean, ideally, you always want an odd number. You don't want an even number just for voting purposes because you don't want to. You want to be able to have a majority. So
So you're saying he would be number 7, and there's only,
Correct.
or number 7, okay, not number 6, and we actually have five, and he would be number 6. You're saying we would be number 6, and he would be number 7. Okay.
So you guys
So-
would have to become the 6th, and then I'd obviously be the 7th, right?
Correct.
But
So-
if we have a quorum of 4,
Well, see, here's the other thing, is if you actually go through and read the quorum is actually
simple
the
majority.
number of people, the majority of the people who are currently on the board. So if
Correct.
there's only 5 people on the board, then
3
it's
is
not
a quorum.
4, it's 3.
Right.
So, I mean,
So to
So
run
we
them-
have had quorums then.
yes.
well,
We said-
I mean, right now we have 6 members.
No, because we've always had people that were members or alternates, but the attendance wasn't, you know what I mean? It
Enough
just-
for a quorum.
Right.
Right.
So if we were down to 4 people in total and we had 3, then we would have a quorum. But we've never been in that position.
So you always have to have
Gotcha.
4 right at the moment because there's 6 of us, right?
Okay.
Because we've always had like,
Enough
you know, we
members.
left Sandy on there. We left, you know, I think Jason stayed on for a while, you know, Betty. So that actually could have hurt us at times because we wouldn't be able to vote. We would have.
Okay, so it's
otherwise
not-
Could remove them.
So, got it. Okay.
So maybe that instead of saying a member of the Board of Selectmen shall be an ex officio member, we should put in there an additional,
That was,
like you said,
so should I motion and then we can discuss and,
yeah.
Well,
So, but
before we motion and go down this road, my suggestion would be to take this home and we look at everything we want to kind of go over and bring it back to the next meeting and talk about it. As opposed to dealing with it one by one and having to
okay.
update the bylaws every time. We just do one
Right.
big change. We do all the edits, we come back and then we vote on.
So
What it
on
is.
on that subject of the membership, we need to also consider if that position is not one of the 6 members,
Mhm.
if all the 6 members are here, does that position get to vote? Or is it treated like an alternate?
Well, if we have 7 full-time members,
Well, see, it says,
Depending on which way we go with
by
it.
it says members. So it doesn't say, if you read this, it specifies alternates and members.
And they're
So-
both even numbers, though.
So if he's an additional member, all members get to vote. And then alternates fill in
Right,
for
if we,
members.
that's what I'm
like
saying,
this.
just for thought, if we do it that way, then that's not an issue because they get to vote. They
Right.
would get to vote if everybody was in attendance.
yeah, there's got to be an easy way to really clearly.
But if we did it the other way, then we have to decide, if we're in a situation where everybody's in attendance, is that vote treated like an alternate vote where it's only
If it's a full voting position, yeah, it should be. Not that we have to worry about that right at the moment.
Why is it?
So I just want to, check that. I'm kind of on Mike's page of, I think we need to back up here
Yeah.
at the 30,000 foot view. Because now clearly looking at this, it's, we've not been in compliance with most things in here. So I'm not too worried about the, quorum issue at the moment.
I mean, there are plenty of things in here which, realistically just need to be changed.
Well, yeah, it's 2005, so it's due for a
Right.
change anyway. So I think this is a good guiding document for us to look at, but I agree that we should all spend some time, do some homework, put some salient questions to come back with next time, and then work through each one.
Right.
Which, we'll have to, I'm glad we're all here tonight. I think if we can
Well,
have
that's my
that day
question.
that we're
That
all
is
here.
that's my question.
Right.
So take it home, great. But seriously, the last time the 6 of us have been together has probably been, I'm guessing, 6 months.
At least. Oh, yeah.
So I think we're all in agreement to look at this, review it, make adjustments to it. But do we need 6 of us back here? Because if that's
I don't
the
think-
case, we're
I
never
mean,
gonna.
It's a vote. It's any other, the
Right.
quorum
I mean,
that we just
realistically,
discussed,
it
right?
should-
So it could
I mean,
be,
we can still
Well, we
have
can all put
input.
input.
do we
can
just want to
always-
email, what I'm getting at is, do we want to email our our input? I mean, if we're not all here to discuss it, I don't know. I'm just concerned that
Ideally,
You
yes,
have-
we would all be here and be able to sit and discuss it, but I think we're all gonna look at it on our own and make notes on it and decide, you
Well,
know,
do we want to?
questions that we have or changes that we suggest, but
Non-editable one.
as far as
we can put comments in.
approving it,
We can,
don't all have to.
the only
That's always good, but
change this to a Google Doc, and we can, except the problem is like getting it formatted into Word.
Well, no, I'm
From
just,
when
I'm
I,
just
when I
saying,
converted it was a pain. Copying and pasting this into Word, into the Google Doc is gonna be another formatting issue.
I don't think it'll be an issue, but I'm not saying is that's going to be our final document. I think just put it in the Google Docs just to put comments in. So we can highlight things and put comments and say, you know, I think this should be changed to this. And that way everybody can sort of see everybody's feedback.
Yeah, we can.
I mean, we can just sort of build on that. That way, if somebody's not at the meeting, at least we have their input
Right.
as to what should be changed.
Mhm.
And it might spur another idea. But when I get back tonight, I'll convert it to a Google Doc and share it with everybody.
And let's put it this way. I agree in the fact that we should get this done sooner rather than later and try to, because let's put it this way. The next meeting is probably when we should shoot for to like have discussion and maybe change it. Because the meeting after that is vacation week again, and who knows who's going to be around vacation week.
this is gonna have to go through the selectmen as well, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Any changes that we make to it.
Do we just want to take a look at the next date to get an idea of who will be here? So we have 5 or more, I think. We're in good
see,
shape.
well, here's the other
9th
thing.
of April?
In the document, it says that the rules can be changed by 2/3 votes of the Recreation Commission. It doesn't say anywhere in here that we have to go back to the selectmen to change these rules.
I would say you're your own governing body. I don't know.
I thought we had to have our, like the bylaws for any subcommittee of ours needs to be approved by us. And we're basically not a committee, but
I don't know. I mean, the original one that we have would say otherwise. Now, as long as the town doesn't have a policy or there's not an RSA that dictates approval by the selectmen, then
I'm asking, so I'll give you the answer when I get one.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna object to anything that we send to them.
No, I don't think so either.
It's just paperwork. It's probably, whatever. I don't think that anything's going to get scrutinized. You guys will, you're your own governing body. We're just going to look at it and say, all right, you all agree to it. That's great.
and I do think
If we have to approve
it's
it.
good to have, even if the selectmen, the board doesn't have to look at it. Maybe if at least Troy looked at it to see if he saw any conflicts
Yeah.
Yeah.
with existing regulations or any legality issues or
And
something.
he might want to send it to town council. Just,
Right.
We don't wanna put ourselves in a
Yeah,
position that we're-
backing ourselves into a corner
Yeah,
with something,
exactly. Yeah.
liability issue.
I didn't think of it that way. Well, I got the email out there. He'll answer it tomorrow or something. I'll let you all know.
So April 9th was,
April 9th is the next meeting
I-
on our,
yeah, I think I'm available on that.
you are available?
Mhm.
I'm good.
Here.
The 23rd I won't be, but I will be on the 9th.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, April vacation.
Other than SAT makeup day, which is, won't be, if I'm still involved with that at 7:30 at night, then something's just seriously wrong. Actually, I won't be here. I've got a game that night, but I can put in my info, in my input. I might be able to miss that game, but
I'll be here.
Okay.
So at the very least, we'll have a quorum.
Sounds like it.
Well, that goes back to the original point, though. The bylaws say that we're supposed to have 6 and 4, and that puts us at an even number, counterintuitive what you were talking about, where we should have an odd number. So again, that's something we need to think about as we're moving through. Do we make it an odd number of memberships? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think there's 10 people out there.
fine, because they just fill in for the 7, but there should be 7 voting, like, yeah.
So 6 plus me, basically,
So
is that where you're?
if that ex officio is not included in the 6, then we should change the 6 to 5 or 7.
Oh, I see, right, yep. Okay.
All right. Thanks for doing that. lost the agenda.
I've got it here. Members and officers.
Members and officers. So Mike and I still, did you get sworn in yet?
I did not get sworn in yet, no.
Oh,
So,
get out, get out.
When you get the,
well, technically, we're still in position until somebody replaces
June.
us. you know.
when you get the email at 1:00 today. Yeah.
So with members and officers of that, aside from just our normal continuing to be sworn in yearly, we don't vote on anything according to that until June.
Yeah.
However, we have to fill a position that is vacant.
I think we can wait till June. I think personally, I'd like to see that seat stay in that name until I've just my personal feelings.
I mean, are there any,
I'm sorry, I can't, Andy, you said, what'd you say? You'd like to keep
Well,
John?
Yeah.
Yep.
Until the next cycle comes up in June when we're supposed to sort of leave that seat.
does anybody see any issues with that? I mean, having that essentially a vacant seat until then shouldn't cause us any problems, right? I mean, it doesn't.
It hasn't impacted us
We all
yet.
still
No,
vote.
it's been fine. I mean, honestly, after we do it in June, though, I'm gonna say we should try to realign when we elect officers too.
Summertime's probably bad.
We should do it at the same time appointments come down, at the same time the selectmen will turn over and
Voting,
everything.
yeah,
We should be
yeah.
looking at this meeting is probably the last one in, March is when the other boards in town end up doing it. We should probably look to switching towards to this.
I think we
meeting.
moved it back to June originally because at some points when with previous boards it was 8-9 weeks before people were appointed because of the background checks and it took a while. So sometimes we didn't have people appointed to positions. We didn't know who were members until May. But all right. So next item on it.
Town hall access, I'm not sure if that's referring to the
Yes.
request.
Pickleball.
or-
So, right now my laptop is down, and that's the one that has the software on it because the one that the town gave us was from like 1987. So I still have some codes that I can give them, but what I wanted to discuss with you guys is I want to get away from the personal codes.
Yeah.
Because it's just, especially with a group the size of pickleball, it's been a nightmare. People are emailing and submitting forms and names are different than they're giving me. And it's just, all right, well, what happens when this person leaves and this person leaves, this person comes in. So what I would propose that we do with codes is give baseball a code, give every organization that has use of the hall its own code. We can set aside another dozen or so codes that I'll share with you guys that we can give out for somebody has an event, they need a
Special events.
1-1. Okay, so that code use and basically have that code, and we can give that out for maybe a few weeks and then sort of get rid of it. The individual code stuff came in before we had the cameras, so that we could identify, okay, if who goes in there. We don't need that specifically anymore because we can see on the camera, oh, so-and-so went in. But this way, if damage happens, we can look and say, okay, which group accessed it? It was basketball, it was softball. Okay, and this is when the damage occurred. Which groups occurred, if the damage happened on the weekend, which groups had access to it that weekend. It's a lot easier. I can set a date every 3 months and just say, we're going to reset it. And you're going to get a new code. And then pickleball will be responsible for giving all of its members the correct code to enter. And that way, if somebody leaves, and if something major happens, let's say that some coach gets arrested for something and we need to restrict access, we can go in and just say, all right, we're just going to change the codes immediately because of that. But other than that, somebody leaves pickleball we're not going to change the codes unless they think that they're going to do something.
It's a good idea though, to flip them every 3 months, especially with that group, because they do have a transient population. Some will join for a while and then they leave. I mean, baseball, soccer, lacrosse, whoever's using it there. I mean, it's usually the same people, at least it has been for the last few years. So
I think it's a good idea to have, to broaden it a little bit and just say, yeah, for the organization, this is your code, or maybe you give them 2 codes, or I don't know if there's a benefit there or not, but whatever that is, I think it's easier to hold the organization accountable for something that is individuals that might coach one season and then they move on and they don't care, you know.
Right.
But if there's an issue and the organization is going to be penalized because there's an issue, kind of puts it on them to say, hey, let's get to the bottom of this, find out what happened, who's responsible. They used our code and they used it, in a manner
So-
they shouldn't have.
I mean, I don't see a problem with the giving out the code, like doing it and doing group codes, one for each group. But it definitely has to come with constant renewal, different, like a changeover, 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is. It needs to change periodically. It can't be the same thing for like 3 years and then
Right.
go in and wipe
No.
them out. It has to be like a constant turnover.
I had the same thought about when you started discussing it about the cameras being, for individual accountability, we have the cameras. Do we know, are they working? Everything working
Last time I
okay?
checked, they
And where are the
a couple
cameras?
months ago.
Just the front door, right?
No, there's
No,
like
there's 2
4,
indoors, there's 2
Okay.
inside, there's
one upside down outside.
Yeah.
It's still just that tape that you have to, there's no easy way to look at
No,
the
but it-
film, right?
It's on a DVR.
right.
Is there any way to get that? Do we have to wait for, I mean, it has to be what?
We have web access to it. I don't remember the.
Yeah, but it's probably, I don't know if it's working properly. I mean, I think it's something that we need to look at this year to possibly, the camera systems are so cheap now
It is.
and they're
I
so
mean,
much better. I think we can easily,
When we have had issues in the past, some things have been, especially at night, unidentifiable.
right, and the cameras are better for night
Mhm.
vision, so it might be something we want
And
to
the-
look at.
And the cost of the cameras has come down.
Well, especially now, the other thing too is with the basketball courts being painted and that area being fixed up, it would be nice to have a camera in that direction, because that's where a lot of the police concern is behind the hall. I mean, the field's not that bad because they can see them from the road. It's anything behind the hall that they can't see from the road, that's a concern. So I'll sort of look into camera systems, and I know John Brunel had talked about some options.
Was there a company that you're aware of that we went through for the system that's in place now that
Yes.
handled it? It wasn't something we just went out and bought a system and
No, it was
installed
it was installed by a company. They're no longer,
a similar.
right. And we can probably talk to, I mean, I'm going to imagine they're doing something at the fire station, right?
yeah, John's doing all that.
So maybe we can,
Yeah, tap into
Like the
that
same
somehow.
company.
There must be a way.
And
I mean, we're all in the
who
same.
maintains these cameras?
Well, yeah,
that's the cable.
Are all these?
Yeah, these aren't security.
None of these.
No.
No, these are all for TV.
But the security stuff the equipment is rather cheap now,
Yeah.
inexpensive. I mean, we could
And
get a
it
camera
interfaces-
count
it
on.
interfaces with the web so much easier.
Yeah, it does.
It's,
and they record they'll store up to months, 2 or 3 months at a
Yeah.
time. So
right.
something happened 3 weeks ago, you have no problem going back and finding it. So.
Yeah. All right, so I'll look at some
So
companies.
Andy, the plan with this, so if we all agree, yep, let's go to individual codes for the leagues. When would that take place?
I would like to get it done the first week of April.
Okay.
That way we can sort of start that April, because April seems to be a jumping off point. Well, actually, let me take a look at the calendar, because it'll be good, because usually the baseball, softball, those groups will stop using the hall at the end of April.
Yep.
So it's
Want
like
to do
a
an Nintendo
clean-
usage low, right?
Right. Or like at least a changeover. It's like, well, I don't want it to change over for baseball and softball. It's like, well, we got 3 weeks left that we're going to be using.
Right.
Now we gotta
Essentially, in
change
the
all
summer,
cards.
it's pickleball and.
Well, why don't you think about doing it every like
Season.
4 months.
I was
You know
going
what
to
I
say
mean?
season, right?
And-
But,
and
but
then-
initially to have this changeover from taking all the individual codes and getting rid of them.
Right, like I
I
say,
that.
yeah, now,
Because you
do
don't
it
want to
now,
probably
but,
do it. I mean, basketball is probably the longest season.
right.
And for him to change it over, I mean, maybe it's not that big of a deal because you're only given one code.
Yeah, I mean, but again, if you change it over, say, you think of when they start, say November 1st,
Right.
and then you get 4 months
February.
after that, you're looking at March,
Right.
the 1st of March, basketball is pretty much done at that point.
Yeah.
So you're spanning that time frame, and then you just go from there, and the other time frames, well,
And each of those changeovers can have a transition period, right? You say, the first of the month, we're issuing a new code.
right.
The old code will be good for the first 10 days of the month, and then that one's done, or everybody's changeover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have time to disseminate the code to
Yeah.
to all the users.
Yeah, that can be done. Well, and the caveat to that, my question is we're sort of putting the ownership on them to do, to give the codes to people that should be getting the codes.
Right.
Which is not an issue for most groups because most youth groups have a criminal background check. Is that something that we want to require? If they're giving out codes, if they're giving out codes to people to get into town hall, should those people all have a criminal background check?
Aren't they certifying that they have through the state process?
No.
Not
Not pickable.
not anybody that's an adult. It's youth groups have
Right.
to,
I-
but not
yeah.
nobody else.
I guess the question becomes: have we done this before? We haven't made them do it up to this point?
Right, but what we've had them do is I've had them go through the form to I mean, not a criminal background check, but at least some type of, they need to make sure that they have a checklist saying they know the emergency procedures. They know, what to do for,
I mean,
not to block exits, that's not a criminal background check, but it's,
that's a lot, for pickleball. That's a lot of, how many codes did they request?
it was like 72.
Right. So you're going to go do background checks on 72 people. And then as they come and go on a dynamic basis, I mean, it's a lot.
Every 2 years. That's usually how long the background checks go for.
Right. But they,
Right,
I mean,
but
I
they
don't know if
but they
may be
constantly have
doing it
people coming
already.
in,
Yeah,
right?
so
But they are,
that's a
they're
big.
having people apply for membership and they're going through this whole membership process. So I don't know if, I mean, and again, I don't think it has to be a criminal background check, but it has to be some type of, they have to have some type of.
I mean, we can.
But they're
let's put it this way.
maintaining their own list.
Right.
I mean,
right?
we can type up something that says to the organization, we are giving you these codes. You are going to be held responsible for whomever you distribute this code to will be held responsible for any damage, misuse, or
activity.
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you want to put in there, and say this is on the organization. You are responsible for disseminating this information and letting people know. If we find anyone in violation of this, we could pull your talent access. Like realistically, when it all comes down to it, is you got to be willing to say, if you guys screw this up and don't do it, and we find out, we will pull your access, and you guys come to us and ask us after. But it's totally our discretion to say, no, you're done. We're not going to give it back to you. You know what I mean? And that's part of it. It's part of it is saying, okay, we're going to keep up with this, and this is what we're going to do. And if we come to you and say, we said there's a problem, who was in there, blah, 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 and you can't give us an answer.
Right.
Done. And no matter what the backlash might be, we have to be willing to say, no, you're done right now until we figure out what a good course of action is. You know what I mean? You got to be able to hold, we as a commission have to be willing to hold that line.
Would you feel comfortable writing some type of a document up on that?
Sure. Yeah. As far as like this policy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it just has to be basically saying, look, this is your responsibility, and if any issues that arise, they'll go to the organization first, and
Right, and I'm sure we can pull together pieces of whatever Andy's having, the form that Andy's having everyone sign now, as well as the facility use form, because I'm sure there's plenty of wording on there that talks about responsibility and everything, and some combination of that would be fine.
And I know that I mean, I don't know. You're not involved in softball that much anymore, right?
Not
So
much anymore, no.
they just came up with a new program. It's a child abuse class that we have to take online. So that's new this year for Babe Ruth, which is softball and baseball.
Oh,
So-
they must be having to do it then.
Yeah, so we're taking this class. I have to do it by April 1st. All of us do, all the baseball coaches and stuff. But it encompasses not only a background check, but now just a child abuse. Being able to recognize situations and stuff. And it's an online class. It takes about an hour. So it's getting pretty intense in
Oh,
terms
yeah.
of
I mean,
training.
every organization, everything, all league, all state leagues, all national leagues are all coming down with policies of, between safety, between concussion, between positive coaching, between all of this. It's all
Heat
yeah.
issues.
Everything is coming.
Yeah.
Everything is being pushed down. So you have to be aware, and you have to go through some sort of training course, certification, whatever. So it's not really. We're not being out of line in terms of saying this is what we require. We're requiring this, but we have to be willing. Again, policies are only as good as your willingness to enforce the policy. I mean, if we're not willing to enforce the policy, then there's no reason to even put the policy in place. It becomes one of those things where, if something happens and we call them here and they don't come, or the explanation is good, or they can't track it, then we have to be willing to say, we're pulling your use. No matter how many people are going to cry about it, no matter how much it hits Facebook, no matter how much it hits anywhere else, yeah, this is what it is.
But we're speculating that you're thinking that so far we've had a very good track
No,
record.
no. I'm saying, but what I'm saying
thousands of
is,
people that have used. I know, but
Right.
let's not worry about. I mean, we can put something
Well,
together, but honestly, I think the community as a whole treats Talent Hall very well, considering how many people use that facility, how long it's been in existence. So fine, we can police it, but I don't want people to feel like the rec commission is, oh my God, don't do anything wrong. We want the community to use these facilities, enjoy the facilities,
no,
and
I agree. It's not even to the individuals. I'm saying the organizations have to realize that they are now taking responsibility entirely for the people they're giving the codes to. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And that's the part we need to make clear.
Yes,
like
we can make that
organizations are now, but realistically, when it comes down to it, people have their own codes, and therefore people go in, and the organizations are pretty much like, well, it's under their name. Whatever they do is them. Now it's back a level. Now it's
Right, because
on
right
the
now somebody
organization.
who coaches basketball and somebody and softball, they have their own code, and it's like, okay, well, were you in there for basketball or softball? Now they're going to have different codes. They're going to use this, and not that they're going to be like, I get one code, I'm just going to use it. But if you go in and you're coaching basketball, you should be using the basketball.
But I
code.
think that should be, again, maybe something that we include in that, where we say, look, if you are involved in multiple organizations, then you have codes from different ones. Whatever activity you're in there for in that instance, you need to be using that code.
Right.
But that's when we've had this problem forever, though, Keith. The door's open, pickleball's in, they walk in.
So,
Yep.
so what
you're
I'm
gonna
saying is,
actually
it just,
wait for pickleball to leave, shut the door, and put your code in. It hasn't happened yet. None of us are there to police it. We're all hoping it's an
Right,
honor
but
system.
you don't have to
Been
wait.
lucky.
You don't have to
We've
wait
been
for them to leave. If they go up, you can punch your code in.
Open the door
And
and
open
then
the
walk
door.
in.
Okay, I just don't know.
I'm not.
It's-
I'm
it
not-
hasn't
I'm not
happened.
expecting that to happen
It's
either.
not.
Carl.
It has
I'm
not. Right.
It's,
This
but it's
communication
going to have to
thing
be.
has never
It's going
been
to have
good.
to be.
By us to
Right.
them from them to
But
us.
again, this is part of if the camera system is working better,
Yes.
then
That's
we'll
what
at
we're
least
gonna
know what
rely on.
activities
Right.
going on
So-
in there.
right.
If not
So
the person.
right now it's as a volunteer group, right? And Andy's been handling these codes. It's been extremely cumbersome to try and
Oh,
deal with.
yes.
Right.
it's
So now,
overwhelming. Yes,
we
yes.
put ourselves into a situation where we only have to deal with 8 or 10 codes.
You're still dealing with hundreds of people.
But we're not.
But each
The
group
leagues
has their
are-
own
The
code.
organizations
Yes,
are,
yes.
They'll
Right.
be
So-
managing their.
Right.
right? So we issue a code to
An organization.
softball or
Yep.
anyone else, and they are responsible to give that code out to the people that need it and only the people that need it.
Agreed.
And if there's an issue, then they're also share some of the responsibility of trying to get to the bottom of the issue. Who
I
did it,
agree. I
whatever.
agree. I'm
You know.
completely in agreement. I'm just
I think it
saying
just simplifies the whole thing and makes
Yeah.
it
it
a little more
does. I'm
realistic.
Well,
just-
also, the
but
other thing
if
it
Mike and
gets
I'm
is-
just,
It gets it, and it simplifies it, but it also makes it quicker for, like, people who are upset. They would say, "Oh, I fill out a form on Sunday. It's the end of the week. I need the code this weekend." I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to be down there. You know, I don't go down there every week to set the codes. This way, somebody needs a code on, and
You'll have your
pickleball on
backup
Saturday.
codes,
They need
right?
a code. Pickleball gives them the code. They can be in there the next day.
And in the situation where there's the overlap, right? Pickleball's in there, and then basketball shows up, and pickleball is already at the building unlocked. If there really is an issue, we can still look into that through the camera system. You know?
yes, exactly.
So it
yeah.
still gives us. I mean,
That's what it's going to be. It's, I mean, we can sit here and say all day long, it's the last code, but it's got to come down to film.
And if the cameras don't work, we can still go to the last code and say, "Okay, you guys are the last codes that access this."
Right,
what
and they'll
happened."
say, oh, but
but
the door was open, right.
So and so
These
from
guys
basketball
don't-
came
Yeah,
in. Okay.
exactly. I mean,
I think it does simplify it.
of
For
course it
us,
does.
it
In
makes
fact,
it-
I think we talked
make it-
about this months ago,
It's a much more
Doing an
realistic
organization.
process.
a code.
By the way, this begs the question, and I was asked, I forget to add this to the agenda, but if somebody from basketball had a background check, can we use that for baseball or no? Okay, I know we discussed this. I
Well,
just want
yes
to,
and no.
I want it to be said on TV because there's a guy that
So-
was bugging me about it, and
What do
I
you
don't
Well,
think we
baseball
can.
has their own you have
So-
background checks
so-
through.
Yeah.
Babe
What do
Ruth.
you mean by use it? Who use it? Who do you mean by use
We have
it?
a basketball coach that
Right.
now coaches baseball.
Correct.
It's the same background system. It's still the
Correct.
acronym. I can't remember. It's the same company.
NCSCA and
Yeah, yeah. So does that background check through basketball? Will that apply to baseball?
It depends on your policy.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, I'm so,
Oh.
you want me, I'll.
Yeah.
So
on.
for example, basketball and lacrosse use it too. They both use the same one. However, lacrosse requires U.S. lacrosse membership requires that you go through that process again
Yes, yeah.
and do it.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of, it's a matter of organization. Like, so if I came back to basketball and basketball is set up independently and I said, I already have one from that organization. Can I just give you a copy of it or whatever? Give me your status. And basketball says, sure, then that's allowed. That can be allowed by basketball.
Yeah.
If basketball allows it. But for me, for lacrosse, we couldn't because you still had to, go through, because it was a national thing, you have to go through the national database. You have to fill it out again and they just charge you again.
Yeah.
That's the difference. You know what I mean? So like lacrosse, for our coaches, you have to get a membership and do lacrosse, the background check and everything. For board members, we have the option of, well, you can either do that, or if you have a background check from somewhere else, submit a copy of that, and that covers your background check. So it's up to each organization as to whether they use what background checks can be used or not. However, it's always the individual who has to go back and get a copy of the background check. The organization can't request it for the individual.
Okay, all right.
And we don't have a requirement.
Well,
We have a requirement that you have a policy in place and that you are following your
Well,
policy.
we follow the state's requirement
Right.
for that.
The
We don't
background
have,
checks.
we don't have anything in there that says that anyone using our facilities or, has the background check. We just say that they have to comply with the state rule.
No, and then that.
So
that
you're
would be
saying
going
wouldn't
in
even,
there
what doesn't
and
matter
using
to
the
us?
state.
Because we don't
Okay,
care
all
where
right.
your background check comes from,
Okay.
But as the president of baseball, you care about what you're, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was just we're in a meeting like a few weeks ago, and they brought it up, and they said, well, if we're a basketball coach and we can prove that we have a background check, can we save the league money? Because it's like $25 or $30. I forgot how much it is now. And I mean, if we get like 6 coaches, then that's $150. So
Well, we talked about that years ago when we were trying to find a way to centralize it.
yep, yeah,
But then the whole premise came, okay, Coach John failed his criminal background check.
Yeah.
As a basketball official, I'm not going to share that information because now.
And the other issue was it wouldn't matter anyway, because like I know soccer, and I think you just said
Yeah,
lacrosse,
Yeah.
they
soccer needs
require
its
their
own,
own
lacrosse
anyway,
uses
so
their
you
own,
can't
yeah.
share it.
It's, you know, I mean, there are certain, or like basketball was an independent, we set it up because it wasn't being done. We set it up so it was being done, but that's basketball independently contracting with NCSI to do background checks.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? If someone went to basketball and said, I already have a background check from NCSI, can I just give you a copy of that? Basketball should be like, sure, this saves them money.
Yeah.
But other organizations aren't as flexible because their parent organizations aren't as flexible.
Yeah.
It's as
I'll
simple
have
as
to look
that.
into that. Okay, all right, thank you.
All right.
Next.
Well, so just
go
to, because we've reached out, I mean, because pickleball reached out to us, are you going to respond back to
I'm
pickleball,
gonna-
Andy, and
yes.
say we're going to do
So I've
one
got-
code?
So I have some shit, like extra codes that I always set aside for, I'm going to give them one of those codes.
Okay.
I'm going to email it to them and say, start using this now
Okay, good.
and give it to all your members. All their individual codes will be deleted.
So we no longer care about lists from them.
Right.
They're maintaining their list.
They need to maintain a list. And if we need to get a list from them, we should be able to get it, but we're not going to constantly ask for it.
Okay, so maybe every quarter, every 4 months. If we're going to change the code, should we ask for a new list? Say, okay, give us a
I
new
would just
list.
say if there's an issue, we ask for a list and say, okay, there's an issue. We
I
need
think
a
it
list.
would, I think it'd be good if we get a call from the police department, they said, hey, there was an issue at Town Hall. Do you have a list of everyone who has access to that? That we could go to the organizations and say, we know the organizations do, but we should be able to go to them and say, can you provide us with a list of who you issued the code to?
Right.
We can make that.
Right.
I mean-
I agree with that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So every 4 months, we supply a new code. They supply us in return a list of their,
I
Well,
don't even
it-
think we need a list of I think,
No.
because let's put it this way. At the end of that 4 months, they could say, okay, everyone who had it isn't going to have it now.
Mhm.
And then they need to maintain the list of who has the active code
Okay.
every quarter.
so we just tell
So-
them they need to maintain an active
Again,
list.
this is another one of those things where if like we need the people, there was we need a list of all the people we're being asked, and they can't provide it to us. Your
Okay,
code
so-
shut off. You can't get it.
So we're not requiring them, just want to make sure we understand, we're not requiring them to send it to us, but we're requiring that they maintain it for their organization
And
Correct.
then we can.
And if
when
we request it-
Provided to us on demand.
on demand. Got it.
Yeah.
So we're providing new codes approximately every 4 months.
the word.
They maintain their lists. We can get it on demand. Okay, I think we're good. Andy, and you're going to reach out to Pickleball and say, here's your new
Yes.
number. Okay.
And I'd say if you're going to say we're converting this over and whatever, there's going to be, you'll have the final wording to the terms will be sent to you.
So Peter will
When
put some
finalized.
together and we'll look at it and we'll have the same discussion,
But what would happen?
Next
No,
meeting.
just kidding.
right?
Another twist.
And we'll,
I will send out an email that adequately scares everyone.
I sent you my insurance.
I already saw it.
All right. Let's,
next.
so the LMS water dispenser.
Right. So we all got the request. I have no idea. We all got it.
I didn't,
Oh, you didn't? It came
So
from PTO.
I can just give you, it came from,
Yeah.
from Dave Walsh, the LMS PTO president. He said LMS has been working towards putting a water bottle filling station / bubbler in the school. Last night, they received a donation of $1,000 from the GMS PTO towards the cost of the install. That leaves them with a balance of $1,500 to get the project done. They're asking if we would be willing to
And they're working
contribute,
towards it, he goes on to
Yes.
say. We're working towards
Yeah.
raising funds.
which we will now work towards. We wonder if there was any way Rec Commission might be able to help, given our goal would be to place a station outside the gym, which is used by many different groups during the year.
actually, the only one that uses it is basketball.
So-
I would say I would ask them to reach out to basketball. I think
Before,
that's-
to the
Well, that's why I
organization
just wanted
directly.
to, because this question came up, I was like, well, this is an interesting question because this is the first time we've been approached by, I believe, an organization within the school that's asking us for
Right. But
for a donation. They're not
Yeah.
asking us to cover the $1,500. He's just saying, could we give a nominal donation? And I thought it was worthwhile topic to understand since we want to do whatever, figure out what we should do and shouldn't do. Do we have a policy around this?
I don't think it's I don't think legally, I don't think we can make a donation.
Okay. because
I think we've had that in the past with some stuff.
See, I don't remember discussing this.
I mean,
Well, it's,
I don't think
really
we,
at a
town,
school.
it's a town organization donating to another town.
well, I don't think we can go to we can't go to the taxpayers and get our budget approved and then take that budget and then say, now we're going to donate it to somebody else.
Okay, now
You know what I mean?
that's a fair thing, because I know they're a volunteer organization. I don't know, we're a volunteer organization, but we have a budget, you're right.
Now-
You're right. We have a budget, they don't.
Now, if we really want to do something, could we say, hey, we want to install the bubbler water station at LMS, and they're going to give us a donation, and then we cover the balance of that through our, I mean, so we
But
could,
could we even go into a school system? Are
No.
we even allowed to go?
We, as much as we are a volunteer organization, we are a town government organization.
Yes,
So
it has a budget.
Well,
we have a budget, we have budgets approved. For us to put anything on school grounds is out of our purview because it's not
Without their permission.
right. Not even without their permission. Yeah, I mean,
but from a legal standpoint, I don't know. I would think that we would be able to, because if it's, for instance, the softball field at GMS, right? GMS doesn't even have a softball team. So, I mean, so the town, you know, the softball field is
Oh.
there, right? So it's used by kind of everybody, whoever needs field space, and it could be the softball league in town, it could be the other schools. So we use it, or the town rec leagues use that. So
We actually- we
could
actually
we
pay
put
the-
up a scoreboard there?
Well, we pay for the porta potty there.
Okay, so I guess that's probably a more realistic example, but,
Mhm.
and I think we do there's probably other times where we have done that stuff. I just don't, I'm pretty clear that we can't make a straightforward donation. to them.
Okay.
And the other
But
thing,
can we assist them somehow? I'm sure we probably can, but I don't.
but
and
I
then
mean,
should we?
and
That's
also,
right. I didn't know I didn't know if we should or shouldn't. I don't know when it comes to the schools, that's like,
Right.
I don't know. They have their own budgets as well.
right. But I mean, and the other thing, because this happened with the scoreboard and there was a lot of back and forth on the two scoreboards at LMS and different things. And they were sort of looking for this and that from the rec commission as opposed to basketball. Basketball sort of stepped in. And the conversation basically was, we've got a $91,000 budget. You've got a
$3 million, 23. or
$23 million budget.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going to your kids and asking them to make your car payment for you, up their allowance. We don't have, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do to our facilities.
Oh, absolutely. I just wanted to get it clear. It was an interesting question. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I just wanted to get a.
I mean, I agree with Andy. Like basketball is the one who uses it all the time.
Yeah.
And they
They
should
really
have
should.
basketball. And basketball has,
They could go hit a basketball
again,
for a donation.
this is kind of going back to the field improvements at GMS and things like that. Usually it's the organizations that go and will say,
Mhm.
we'll help out here or here or here at the schools or whatever, even at the town fields, because realistically, they have more discretionary funds than we do.
Right.
I mean, they have, their budgets are there, but there are funds that they have that they can turn and use as capital improvements or whatever. Whereas realistically, our budget is very tight and a lot of it's geared towards maintenance.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't think it's a fact that if we had the money, if we had plenty of money, we wouldn't say, no, we would love to help you. But I think it's one of those things where it's, again, we're on a very small budget and to come to us asking us for that, okay, so now we're going to donate what? And then when we get back to the playground discussion, what could that $500 have done for a new piece of
Well,
playground
and-
equipment as opposed to a
Making
water bubble?
improvements to a facility that we don't oversee when we have a facility that is.
Correct.
Well, that was my main-
When that really needs to be overseen,
Like a-
yeah.
Well, that was my main question. I wanted to mainly make a policy. Like, we don't do donations to the schools.
Right.
I mean, that's not in our
Yeah, and again,
area.
I mean, so there's the can we and should we, right? And can we with the donation?
We may not be able to.
I'm pretty sure we absolutely cannot do that. But if we wanted to help them out in some way, I think there's
Yeah.
ways
And
we
if they wanted to
could
run a
now.
fundraiser,
But I don't think we
we'd
should,
help them
only
sponsor.
because
Right.
it's like Mike said, it's outside of our purview, and
Okay.
if the organizations wanted to contribute.
So I think it's a fair question to raise, though, because while we're kind of, rec facilities and properties focused, this one kind of connects us to a broader recreation opportunity, right, for rec league using the school. So I don't think that's completely out of scope as far as, supporting the recreation activities within the town. I mean, this one is a facility request. I do think it is out of scope for this request, but I think it's good on them for coming to us to raise that question. And there may be an opportunity when we use our budget to support something at a school or another location if it makes sense for recreation, even if it's not a park or facility request. So I do agree that's our priority is facilities and properties, but if there are ways to support recreation activities that are outside of the properties, I think that's worth a conversation.
In an example that I guess is, I think related, I don't remember the specifics of it, but didn't the fire department come through with AED donations or something for us? And didn't they offer something?
Where did that AED come from?
It was something from the fire department. That's where it started, right?
That was the one that was donated through, it wasn't through the fire department, but the fire department, we went through them to make sure we had the right one. It was donated actually through, forgotten where the donation came from. It was, but the fire department is did the one at LMS, right? They replaced the one at LMS, I believe.
Or just that crossed my mind as an example of a similar situation where one town entity was contributing to another town entity.
Right. But I mean, there's a lot more crossover between police and fire and the school department because they do have an official role there. They're the fire department and the fire chief, right? They're responsible for the safety in town buildings. They actually have a legal role in that where we don't really have. And I mean, and a water bubbler, if they came and said, we want to start this new program, this new activity, and there's a new sport, and we could use it as a town and benefit from it, recreational use, that would probably be something that we could probably do. But a water bubble is just getting water. It's not promoting an additional, we're not expanding the use of recreation facilities in town.
Okay. I'll reach out to Dave. I just wanted to get before I said anything.
But I would definitely tell them to contact basketball.
Yeah.
I think they would happily step up because they'd use it a lot.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
It's going to be outside the gym, it sounds like, so. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Any other new business?
The only thing I wanted to ask you, the floors. Did you
Yeah, I was
those?
going to do that
Okay,
with
good.
the old business. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's
to
do
move
all
on to that?
business.
So the floors at town hall, we talked about, and they can't be sanded again, but they can be refinished. They can be buffed and recoated. And while doing that, we may want to look at some of the lines, touching up some of the lines, because we've worn through the polyurethane and the lines are faded now. So I thought he was going to be back to me with a quote on it before tonight. I just talked to him again last week. I didn't get it from him, but I will see him
Which company?
Thursday. The company who did it originally,
Landry.
Landry.
Okay, good.
He asked me the exact square footage, what we used last time, and I said I'd have to go back and probably talk to Jason because he's the one who handled that. But he said he had it in his record, so he was going to look it up and then get back to us. He said what would be the timeline on getting it done, and I said probably the summer because when it's its lowest point of usage.
I would say spring would be better. Like once the sports are outside and it's not really hot and humid, he's not going to want to do it when in the summer because that building gets so hot, and it would just. I'm sure he would say he'd much rather do it when the humidity's lower and
So May, June.
yeah, May would probably be perfect.
So I'll follow up with him again, and I know he was looking into it.
Or
He just didn't
September,
get back to me.
October, like either end. If we can't get it done in May, I would say, the fall would be better.
I assume if I get information for him, which I expect to from him prior to the next meeting, then I'll send that out so everybody has it. And then we can maybe vote at the next meeting on getting it done and scheduling it so that he can get it on his plan as well.
Cool.
Any other old business?
The volleyball discussion.
So, Talia, it has the form.
Mhm.
I came here the other day, Troy actually just sent me the background form that she needs. So I just got that from Troy this afternoon. He couldn't find it, but he found it, so I have it. So I'm going to forward that on to Talia to complete. She's in the process of completing the Talon Hall usage form and giving us the dates that she's looking at.
Right now, there's not a proper volleyball net setup in the gym.
Right, and that was that. I'm glad you brought that up because we were talking about possibly a revolving fund, or is there a way?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Why, we don't have a net?
we have a net.
We have the
Posts.
poles.
Yeah.
The weighted base poles.
Yeah, I know. Where are those posts?
Oh, they're there.
No,
They're
the
still
posts are
there.
sitting right there.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
are
Those-
right there?
those-
Okay.
those are-
Corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Those can't stand up to competitive volleyball. That's for gym. Yeah,
but it's not competitive. Well, it's
It's like a little rec little
like
thing.
a clinic.
I mean,
right. But they're going to be hitting into it's
Right.
they're training for competitive volleyball.
So they're not. They won't. You're telling me they're gonna fold in if they're gonna get
If
hit.
somebody hits the net and comes down, those poles are coming down.
I-
So when we
I don't
when
think they, we moved those for Winterfest. Remember
Yeah.
when we moved those? Those.
well, you
it took-
understand torque, right?
outside.
I understand, right, but I mean,
Are they
if
the
they had
same
to,
ones that they use at like LMS for practices?
No.
No,
No, they
LMS
sink
are
those
nice.
in
They
the
sink
ground.
those in.
Yeah,
Yeah, LMS
So why
is-
do they have all the rolling ones in the corner?
those are for gym.
Oh.
And they usually use them for tennis. They mostly use them for the lower nets.
Okay.
I mean, they can be used. I have set it up in there but it's a pain, and you use ratchet ties, and there are hooks in the wall, and you anchor everything down, and it's got to be just right, and you never really get it to the right height.
Okay.
It's a pain. I'm not saying they can't use it. I'm just saying that
they need to have the understanding of what's there.
right.
So if she were to do some sort of, I don't know, participation fee or something, how much does this stuff cost? I'm wondering if she were to start some sort of league for the revolving fund, that we could take out of the revolving fund, buy the equipment.
You're looking at the minimum $3,500.
Well, I mean, if she's doing this sounds like it's something that she's interested in doing, not just in the near term, but potentially long term, right? I mean, if she wants to.
Sounds like it, yeah.
She's got 20 girls, 100% Litchfield residents.
Mhm.
So if she's okay with the equipment that's available, at least for her to start that out, and then
Right, but what I was saying is, when we did it, it's not done the way it's not proper the way it's set up. So if it's set up and I could see it being a liability issue if she's in there setting it up and somebody's not setting it up properly. Somebody's going to get hurt. This pole's going to come down on somebody, or the I don't know. It's just, if she wants to do it, I think you need to have the proper equipment in there to do it. I mean, LMS has the setup. They can set up a volleyball court with the poles. They actually are set into the floor. Or they can do outdoor. I mean, that's, there's all kinds of nets that we can get for outdoor,
well, why would outdoor be any different than indoor?
because then they're set up they have outdoor nets that have the equipment, and those you can get for like $300 for a professional outdoor set.
What are they anchored? What is it? The net anchored to then?
The ground.
So you have to have
It's on grass.
right, but usually those weighted
No,
posts in the
the-
gym would be less secure than something stuck in the grass.
Yes.
I don't see how that could be possible.
Burying a post like 3 or 4 feet into the ground. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
It's all tension.
Oh, okay. Yeah. With the wires. Yeah.
With cables.
Wait,
out.
but
And if those things come down, they weigh like 3 pounds. They're not going to hurt anybody. Those poles, those weighted poles come down. They're
isn't there a way to set up the poles so all it is you put them where they are, and then just something's already secured on the top, and you're just tying that to the hooks on the wall?
well, and yeah, if we get into a stud in the wall,
Well, we have
I think
there's like a chain in the wall right now on both sides.
That's pickleballs.
Yeah. There's like those things are in there. So couldn't you anchor to them? I'm just asking. I'm like,
I'm
So
sure.
we
you
have
can.
a net. Do we have a net?
There's a net.
I'm
in
sure
there.
there's a net upstairs.
There's a net and we have the poles.
Correct.
So we could at least check it out. I can try to look at it this weekend and see if it's even what it looks like. I mean,
Well, it might be worth having her meet you there.
Yeah.
Because, and
What kind
say,
of
hey, look,
shape it's
this is
in.
what we have. Would this even work for you if we were to
Right.
do this?
Yeah.
What, does she have any dates of when she was looking at
she hasn't done it yet. No.
Because if she was looking at summertime, she also needs to understand two issues. If she's looking at summertime, which is where the availability would be the best, she needs to consider the temperatures in
Yeah.
there. And if she's not, then she needs to understand that it's very busy
Mhm.
in the,
She did. She said she was looking for Sundays, and we're like, well, we don't know about Sundays. Like the off season, yeah. I'm like, Friday nights are pretty much always open.
Mhm.
And she says she was running them now on Fridays.
In
so-
Derry, yeah.
You know what I mean? Realistically, and honestly, if she's running in, if she's part of she's under us, which is what we need to vote on because we couldn't vote last time. We should be able to get her some time in there, no matter what season it is, basketball or not. You know what I mean? If she's been in there all year and she's there for 2 hours, which is pretty much the commitment, it seems like it's 2 hours a week. We should be able to find her 2 hours a week.
sure.
Yep.
So that she was looking at coming under the rec.
We were going to
Yes.
put her under the rec.
Yeah.
Mainly for the insurance.
Because I know she said she,
It was under the
She
rec
discussed
for the
it.
insurance for, everything through the revolving fund. It was just going to be her. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I like the idea that it's all Litchfield,
Mhm.
A variety of ages. It seems like all Litchfield residents, and it's a new activity that we can
Yep.
offer. Some, just, I guess I think it's maybe something that we don't want to go and spend $3,500 on until we saw it. Like, hey, she did this last year and it was fantastic, and now she's doubled her numbers for next year. And
So she's charging a fee.
No, we haven't even, I'm just saying if
Oh, I
we,
thought-
I was saying, okay, we had the revolving fund. If she wanted to pay back the revolving fund, right, charge a fee
She's charging a
She's
fee now,
charging.
but she has to pay for
for dairy, right.
dairy and everything.
For that.
So, it's still, and honestly, as we were talking last week, you kind of want the fee because you want the buy-in. You don't want to be like, oh, just show up when you can. And you show up one day and there's no one or one person and another day there's 20. You want that number. And again, no matter from what I've learned is that if you charge money, your attendance figures are consistent or more consistent. You know what I mean? And it's very scary where a lot of times you charge more money, those numbers become even more consistent as opposed to less and people pop in and pop out. But considering that you have LMS volleyball, where most of those girls get there and they've never
never played the sport.
seen the sport before. And that school keeps turning out good to very good teams. And now we have a group that wants to either start earlier or when they're in there get better. It's definitely a place of opportunity. It's definitely something that's going to expand what we can offer as a town. And having her under us, kind of like having Jason under us for summer basketball, I think is the way to go. It's just her. It's just running these things. Then it seems to make sense.
So now that'll be the only thing that's really under us that's on a weekly basis. So,
At this point, yeah.
technically we're going to have to go through the state for criminal background check.
So I have the criminal background check.
No, I mean, just like that, that $25, we have all the organizations.
Oh, yeah. We do as an organization have to go through it.
Because we're technically hosting a clinic or a camp for youth.
Okay.
Well, she can do that.
No, if she's under us,
Right,
we
but,
have to do it.
but when lacrosse, for
Because
instance,
they're
was
not
under
us.
us. But any organization, I know everybody's kind of moved out now, but when we had organizations under us
But
before,
we didn't have to report to the state back then.
everybody bailed out of that before that requirement. That's been, what, 3 years now?
Right. And lacrosse has been out for 5.
No, not that long. Officially out. This is probably a 3.
It was.
It was
But
close.
What I'm
Let's put it
saying
that
is,
way.
I mean, it's not a big deal. I think we should do it because,
No, what I'm saying is if she's running this program,
Well,
Under
it
the-
comes out of
under
her
the-
funds.
under us, she's overseeing it, then, yeah, I mean, if we have to, out of our budget, we pay the $25
I mean,
fee, whatever,
yeah.
that's fine, but, I mean, that would be part of her responsibility is to submit that information to the state.
Let's say, yeah, it's a form.
well, no, but it should be our responsibility because then any other, I mean, we might as well do it because then basically it covers if another group, like Jason did it for the summer, but now
I see, yeah.
we can do it once and hey,
everybody's
he's under
covered.
us, he's gonna fall under our criminal background check policy.
But we don't
Oh,
have,
so
a-
he didn't
we don't
do
have
it
a
under-
We're gonna
background
have to,
check
we're gonna
policy.
have
He
to.
didn't do it under LRBL?
No, they
No.
wouldn't do it.
You never, he's, Jason is under us since he started.
So how come we didn't do it last year then?
He did it,
Well, he did it,
yes.
but not under us. I mean,
Correct.
we should have done it.
Right.
Okay, so now we'll do it and then we'll have two.
But again, if
Covered.
we do it, then we're gonna have to have a criminal background check policy that we're gonna follow.
That goes in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
We do have it. Any,
No, I mean, that
No, no.
we physically put, right now, our policy is that any groups that use us have to have a policy that they follow.
That's not even our policy. That's just the law, and we just pass that information along and
Right.
say, we're not even allowed to give you access to these facilities unless you do this.
So now we have to have a criminal background check policy for our our members and our committee members that, and I guess we really should have done it probably for the Christmas in Litchfield.
We-
That's-
That's a one-time event. Doesn't matter. We don't have
Yeah, it's
to.
not camp.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
But-
is true. My
it would be
question,
good to do.
but my question is
That-
that we do have a background, like you to be a member under us doing something in town, you need to fill out the volunteer form and get a background check. So it's already part of what we do.
Right, I'm just saying that we have to have the right, have it in writing that we have that policy, we're following that policy, and we're signing off on that when we send it to the state.
Okay.
And then that would cover everything.
And I
as a
also,
volunteer.
including that, if you want to call it a policy or whatever, but including it in there, I think is just good, like, for, as this commission changes and other people come in, they don't have to go, well, how did all these people before us, how did they handle this?
Mhm.
You know, it's in writing there, and they can say, oh, well, they have it here, or they had made people comply with the state requirements, but they did it on their
Yep.
own or whatever. But I think it's just good to have that information in there. So we're gonna, I guess we have a few questions for her.
So I have to give this to her. We have to get the form back for her request to use talent, like what days she's looking at. And I can say, let's meet and look at the equipment and
Yeah,
see if it's
and let me
even.
know when you're gonna meet, I'll see if I can make it, because I'll at least show you how I had set it up before.
Sure.
And I mean, it might be, because I know,
I don't even know where it, I mean, you
well, at
think
one
the net's
point-
upstairs?
at
It's
one
not a
point,
mess up. Upstairs is pretty clean.
No, I know, but that's why I didn't even see a net up there, but
I know there's a soccer net up there, a brand new one.
I just didn't, it's not a small net, right? I don't,
No, but it's probably rolled up.
Yeah,
okay, maybe I'm just
Um,
missing it.
so one
It is
summer,
clean up there. It's-
one
it's
summer
clean.
when they were doing the
Right.
volleyball in there, Jayla Brennan was doing it, and Jason actually brought his outdoor net, and actually it's set up nicely in there as well. So, I mean, I'll talk to him, and if we don't think that this could work, we can possibly get one of those. It's like sun net, and those are like $300, and that could set up nicely in there. So it's not, at least it's regulation height, which those nets aren't. And, you know, it can be the right tension and all the stuff that they need.
Yeah, safer.
Yeah, I'm not a volleyball person, so I have no idea what's right or wrong.
All right.
All right, so I'll
Anything
get,
else for old business?
I don't know, you may have discussed this the last meeting. There was, just saw it on here. Someone was looking for pictures of the bike path. Did anyone reply to that? Because I don't mind going to take pictures. and
pictures
send
of
them.
the bike path?
I think they
Oh,
were
that was-
due before we could get to it.
Oh,
So,
okay. So that was already addressed, sort of.
That wasn't for the annual report, was it?
No,
the
it was, I think it was
actualization.
because they were done with a grant or something,
Oh.
maybe. I'm not sure if that.
No, it was just, they wanted to do all the paths in New England, like there was like,
Oh,
I thought they were like from Vermont or something. It was really strange.
There's some government thing.
Yeah.
Just saw it. I just looked at it a second ago and I can't find it. Let's see. I may have had, somebody told me they were gonna send me a request, and I just want to check my other email in case they did send it today for tonight's meeting, just so they don't have to wait.
And we're all set with heat, town hall heat. At
Well,
this point,
temporarily, yeah.
that's gonna get
It's
us to
still a temporary heater there.
So that's something we'll have
We'll be
to,
done with that.
discuss.
yeah.
Is that a warrant article?
No, that's a maintenance thing.
Okay.
It'll be done this summer, I believe.
Yeah, we can't wait for a
Does that come out of our budget?
budget?
And then, well, we don't want, people will be voting, no, we don't want heat at town at all.
Yeah.
Does that come out of our budget? Or is it,
I think it's a building maintenance thing, but we're working our way through it right now. We did have I don't know if you guys talked about this, but we ran out of propane on a Sunday morning.
yeah, that's,
It wasn't that cold out and they were going to call and get a rush order of propane there that Sunday. And I was just like, no, just wait till Monday morning. Let's save ourselves a little bit of money because we weren't really, the heaters in the bathrooms were working, which is where all the water pipes are anyway. So I didn't really think that it was necessary to, pay extra to get propane there. And I hope you guys felt the same way, but
Oh, that's fine. Question,
Yeah.
is that on automatic refill? Is it supposed to be filled or is
It
it
is.
like?
Yeah,
cold
well, here's the
water,
thing.
or-
we know how much we use every year. And yeah, it's an automatic refill. They're in the same mindset. Problem is that this is a whole new heating system. So we didn't know the calculations as far as how much they use it.
Okay.
And they missed it by a few days. And, unfortunately, little things like that happen. But some people call it mismanagement. It wasn't. It was just a miscalculation. We had a problem with, we knew that we used X amount of propane every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. And
Right, no, I mean, and it makes sense, you switch heating systems, you're not used to that new
yeah.
Well, because it was actually,
ratio.
there was actually heat in the hall.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Something that we haven't had to calculate for in years.
Yeah.
That is
That'll
true.
be turned off pretty soon. I think that'll go away. I'm going to guess in the next 2 weeks, well, probably 3 weeks, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it depends on how warm it gets and how fast, but I want to get rid of that thing as soon as possible. That way we stop
And
paying rent for it.
Troy's getting, I saw he's looking for bids for heat alone, heat with the possibility of expanding to HVAC and then heat and HVAC together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if the ductwork's in place, you can get it. You can add it on at any point. Heat's our most concern right now. So,
Yeah.
So we got companies out there right now looking for, we're looking for bids from companies. So,
I mean, and that's something too. I mean, if we can get the number for HVAC, I think it's legitimately something that we could talk to basketball and maybe some other groups saying, look, we're looking to do this. This would mean that you could run some summer activities in here. This is how much it's going to cost. We're going to charge a fee, and just sort of, we could probably, recover that money
yeah.
through, so the taxpayers really wouldn't be paying for it.
Well, I think it also I know that the usage terms have changed slightly, or at least in some people's views, but I think that the impact fees would be an eligible use because we'd be expanding the facility usage.
I asked Troy. That's not-
Well, and the other thing we have to factor into our budget would be electrical usage, because I mean, air conditioning runs up your electric bill, so
Right, yeah, that would have to be incorporated
you
into,
have to figure out.
So if you put lights on a basketball court, that's eligible for impact fees because you can use them at night. But if you put heat or air conditioning in a building so you can use it year
You
round?
can technically use it. It's not.
Well, you could use it without a heating system too, but that's not a consideration.
Well, it's not, we're not getting impact fees for the heat.
I know,
system.
but I would think that you would be able to.
Can't use our impact fees on anything
Right.
with Sawmill
Well,
anyway
technically-
right now, so.
Adding lights, we can't use it for anything. They've really they've changed what it is, what we can use our impact fees for. It's got to be really an expansion of an existing facility. That's not an expansion of it. If we wanted to do a bump out so we could have a regulation basketball court, and yeah, if we wanted to add it, like we can't use impact fees for painting the basketball courts and putting up new hoops because they're already existing there.
Sure.
If we
Right.
want to put a third court there, we could use impact. Actually, it has to be a certain percentage.
Yeah.
now.
For some reason, I've heard, and I'm probably wrong, but we've got tennis courts are next on the list. I mean, I might be just I might be getting.
That was part of the capital improvement
that is,
plan. 'Cause
yeah.
They wanted us to get up to 6 courts
Right.
Yeah.
because
Six, I thought it was 4.
The high
Six
school.
for the high school.
I thought
You
they
only
needed
need 4 for
four.
high school.
4.
4 additional courts to the 2.
No,
that we
you
have.
only need
No, I
4
think it was
courts
4.
for high school.
Oh, so we had to
I
put
think
in
even
two
the
more.
original plan for the high school had 4 courts because that's what it
You only
required.
need 4
That's-
courts for a high
Right, but
school.
we
And
won't
that's
be
why
able-
we prepped that. Well, it would be the parking lot area below the existing tennis courts
Right.
Oh, it's
was to
Sawmill.
get the 2 additional. So we had it. It's
Okay.
ready
I thought it was 4 courts
for 2
or
additional
6
courts if we wanted to, so that they could run a tennis program.
I don't see a lot of tennis players out there, even though there probably is, but I mean, it's not.
That's
It's more
decent
frequent.
Again, when you start something and someone wants to do it,
Yeah.
you'll get people.
The school has a bass fishing team.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
All right.
All right.
Find
Any
it.
other new business? 'Cause
Yeah, he didn't
No.
send it.
Yeah.
All right.
It was, he
Oh.
didn't send it.
I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor? All
Uh,
right.
It's the
we
longest
adjourn.
meeting we've had in months.
Yeah.
It's the official. It's the only official meeting we've had. In months.
Yeah.